Hello. Let me know who is here. Just type in the chat box so that I know who's joining us tonight. We've got loads of you signed up, which is amazing. I think we're at almost 100. I know not everybody can attend live. There will be a replay available for 1 week afterwards for you to catch up on anything you do miss. Yeah, type in the chat box. Let me know who's here. We'll just give it a minute to let people join. Then we'll get stuck in. I'm really excited about this, actually. Hi, Adriana. Thanks for joining me, hun. I'm really excited about this because I didn't learn. Hi, Carol. Hi, Pam. Hi, Kate. Hi, Anna. Thanks for joining, ladies. I didn't learn social media from anyone or marketing from anyone. I don't have a background in business. This is just all I learned on my 6-year journey to getting to where I am now. And I'm really excited to share it with you. If you've done some of my courses before, you'll spot a few little bits that have come from my other courses, but there's lots of new stuff as well. And hopefully after today, you'll just be much more confident when it comes to being able to sell organically and sell through social media. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Inez. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Janine. Hi, Christine. Hi, Lena. Thank you all for joining me, ladies. Okay, so we've got 29 of you on live. It's 1 minute past, so we'll just give it a little bit longer and then we will get stuck in. So if you don't already know me, Natasha Bray. I'm based in Wales in the UK, if you couldn't tell from the accent. And I have a worldwide audience as well, which is brilliant. That means there's always women from all around the world on these calls, which I love. Okay, right. So what I will say, ladies, is try and keep questions for the end, because I will do Q&A at the end as well and answer any questions that come up. It's showing a raised hand. I'm not sure what that means. Okay, so right, let's get stuck in. Like I say, I'm not going to be able to see the chat when I've got the slides on the screen. So if we keep questions to the end, you can type them in as you go along, that's fine, and I'll sort of scroll back through all the comments. And yeah, if you can keep them to the end, even better. Right. Carl, do we get a copy of the slides? No, lovely. There's no copy of the slides, I'm afraid. It's just what's on the presentation in the video today. Right, okay. Let's make a start then. Let me figure out how to share this. Tech is not my strong point. Right. Okay. So I'm going to hide my video and then I'll come back on at the end when we've ready for Q&A. I just feel more comfortable that way. Right, okay. Let's get started then. Oh, let's get started. Okay, so welcome to your Sold Out Through Social Masterclass. So let me ask you first of all then, ladies, let me know in the comments who here would love to make more sales through social media, completely free. Who here is fed up of wasting money on Facebook ads and wants sold out launches, products and services a different way? And who here wants to know exactly how to become magnetic to clients and have people inboxing you to sign up with you? If this resonates with you, then you are definitely in the right place. So just a little bit about who I am for people that are new to me or don't already know me very well. I'm an award-winning success mastery coach. I've got 14 years experience transforming people's lives and businesses using a very unique multi-modality approach to success. I studied psychology for 8 years. I won multiple awards for my work and research contributions to the field. I'm a leading expert in rapid and radical personal and business transformation. This is reflected in my own results and the results I get from my clients as well. I've made well over £1 million in sales now in my time in business. This is with no business background, completely self-taught organically. And over 500k of that has been in the last 6 months. This is through my own approach to organic marketing. I barely have any sales calls in my business. Most of my sales happen over Messenger. I do have a few sales calls, but not many for the level of sales that I do have. And in the last year alone, I've helped thousands of my clients make huge financial, emotional, and spiritual leaps in their lives and businesses using my unique 4-level healing approach, Success Imprinting. Okay, so let me share with you just a few of the results. So you're probably thinking, well, you know, who are you to teach me about social media selling? Can't get my words out. Well, I grew a new niche to $500,000 a year turnover within 2 years. And it's the revenue this year is going to be much higher than that. I have consistently high multi-5-figure and 6-figure sales months. More recently, the last 3 months have been consecutive 6-figure sales months. Completely organically, not a single penny spent on Facebook ads or marketing. I consistently set up my launches via social media, and I will sometimes also run a webinar, but I only advertise the webinar organically as well. And I've had 2 recent 6-figure launches side by side, again through organic selling. I've made 15k and 12k in 24 hours just with a £99 offer, and I've sold 3k packages, 3k or above with no sales calls. Okay, so this all happens through what I like to call aspiration marketing, but it's like attraction marketing. And I make sales almost every day. It's very rare that I go a day where my business isn't making a sale. And I've consistently made sales across different types of businesses. I used to have a product-based business. I still have a product in my old business that sells organically and naturally. And I've got a service-based business as well. And as you can see, different price points. So whether it's £99 offer or £3,000 offer, I've been able to sell all of them. Now, £3,000 for a 33-day package is considered high ticket. I haven't gone above that. So anything above actually I'm lying. I have had some VIPs that have sold for around 7 to 10k actually, but that's quite rare. Sort of 3k and under is where my expertise lies, I would say. Okay. So my promise to you then is through this masterclass, you are going to learn the key ingredients to help you get sold out through social media. And again, that's completely free. No marketing spend needed. What I tend to do is I combine deeply healing work, my inner work, with organic marketing to grow my business and also to help my clients explode their businesses too. And I just wanted to share that also the results I've had have been with a really small audience. So I've only got an email list of 3,000, and across my sort of social media platforms, there's probably a collective audience of 6,000. So it's not huge numbers, but I've still grown a huge business. So hopefully that will show you that you don't need massive audience to actually have more success in your business. Okay, so to show you how you can become sold out through social too, I'm going to be sharing these things with you. I'm going to be talking about the foundations of being sold out. And they're very basic foundations, but they're important. The 10 E's of effortless sold out sales. The type of content that I use on my social media. How you can post in others' groups to audience build with for free with no advertising spend. How to present your content, and then how to pull it all together for a really simple social media strategy that if you can apply, honestly, your sales will start to skyrocket. So let's start with the foundations of sold out success. There are two key foundations of sold out success: sales and marketing. And marketing is the most important foundation because you can't have sales without marketing. So these are the foundations of any successful business. Marketing, the purpose of marketing is to generate leads through content. It's the most important function in any business. And the purpose of sales then is to then convert those leads that the content creates into paying clients. You can't make money without sales. You can't get sales without marketing. So marketing is just, some people are scared of marketing, but I just see it as building relationships. So just look at it as relationship building rather than selling, especially if you've got sort of limiting beliefs around selling. It's just purely building relationships. It's helping people and building relationships at the same time. And relationships are the key to success in any business. So great content is key to standing out as a leader or expert in your niche. It's my key strategy for attracting people to working with me. And your content is what will attract people to work with you. To put it simply, without content, it's going to be really hard to have a business, let alone a successful business. Some people do actually have quite good businesses that are referral based. And if that's you, that's a really big testament to your work. But it's not a long-term strategy for building a business because you're not in control of referrals. They're ad hoc. You can't, when it comes to content and marketing, if you need to make money, you can put some posts out there and you're in control of bringing that money in. It's not like that with a referral-based business. So content's really important to position yourself as a leader in your industry, especially if you want to be known as a thought leader as well. And without content, you just can't attract clients. I want you to remember when it comes to content that you are the expert, okay? And most people already have all the information they need inside of them. And in most cases, when it comes to your ideal client and who you're marketing to, it's often an earlier version of you. So if that's the case for you, it's so much easier to market to that earlier version of you because you literally been inside their head. You don't have to guess what they're thinking. You don't have to guess what they're feeling. You've been inside their head. You know what it's like to be in that place, in that position. So if that's you and your ideal client or your person that you're trying to sell to is an earlier version of you, you can go back to that time, think about how you were feeling, the thoughts you were having, and how you were struggling, and what you were looking for, because that will help you with your marketing as well. And if your ideal client's not an earlier version of you, what is your area of expertise? What have you got a track record of helping others with from a previous career? These are some of the things to think about. Okay, so let's now move on to the 10 E's of effortless sold out sales. So I'm going to take you through these 10 different E's one by one. So we've got energetics, emotional connection, elegant storytelling, embodiment, evidence, expertise, every day, I'll explain that one later, encouraging inquiries, engagement, and excitement. And I'm going to expand on these for you now. So let's look at energetics then. Number one, energetics. Have you ever heard the quote that people buy from people? You are the niche. This is, lots of people struggle with niching, and you are a niche. People buy your energy. They buy your uniqueness. They buy you. They don't always buy your service or product. So you are the unique selling point when it comes to making what you sell stand out as different online. And I feel, or what I've experienced, is the key to magnetism when it comes to social media marketing is a balance of the doing and the being. Or as some would say, the balance between masculine energy and feminine energy. You need to be in balance. And in terms of marketing, this looks like a balance between business-related posts and posts about the person behind the business, posts about who you are. Some people tend to have only business-related posts, and this actually can work against you because you'll struggle to build emotional connection, which we'll move on to next. Another thing to think about is, are you coming from a place of fear or a place of love in your marketing and the action that you take in your business? So that affects your energy and how you're showing up online. Quite often there's things like fear of rejection or abandonment that can deeply link in with fear-based action. So it's really important to work on healing those underlying inner issues that might be holding you back. And also understanding that action or marketing from a place of fear can actually either repel clients or attract the wrong clients. And this is why working on yourself is so important. Like I always say that the business journey is a personal development journey. And when you take action from a place of love, the energy behind it is so different. But it has to be love for you and love for them. It can't be one or the other, because otherwise it ends up leading to overgiving and burnout and things like that, and we don't want that. So coming from a place of love for them and for you is far more powerful and attractive and magnetizing to potential clients. Another thing around the sort of energetics is being able to detach from the outcome. So this is really important. Like lots of people, they'll put a social media post out or an email, for example, and they start worrying how many people have liked it, or has anybody comment, or nobody's messaged me, and they sort of get a bit like, and I've been there as well, so I know what this feels like, but you get too attached to it rather than just relaxing and trusting and letting it do its job. And then sometimes people will even delete the post they put out if it doesn't have enough attention, for example. So we want to move away from that, detach from the outcome, put the post out and just trust. So these are just some of the energetics behind social media. So like, for example, I've gone into a month with zero idea where my income will come from that month. But I just know that I will show up until I achieve what I want to achieve. I detach from the how. I don't know how it's going to happen at that moment, but I commit to showing up daily from a place of love. Your energy, when you show up online, is what will make you magnetic. And I truly believe people don't buy what you do, they buy who you are. And you might want to think about your own buying behavior with this. You are more likely to buy from someone that you know, like, and trust as a person, as well as wanting to buy their service or product, okay? Another thing to think about, and this is a really important reflection, is do you really believe that you are enough, or that what you're selling is enough? Because if not, there is a massive misalignment which can impact your sales and your ability to attract clients online. I'm going to give you a task to do now that can help with this. We call it the energetic alignment booster, and it works so well with my clients, and I've done it myself when I needed to pull myself out of a funk. So it's going to be really hard if you don't believe in yourself, and if you don't believe that you're enough, what you're selling is enough. It's going to be really hard to actually expect other people to believe in it and in you enough for them to buy it. So this is a task that you can do. You might want to write a couple of reasons down now, but you're probably going to need a bit more time. I can give you a minute or so. So I want you to write down 20 reasons you are the person that they need, 20 reasons they need your product or service right now, and 20 reasons that they will pay what you want to charge for it. Maybe just jot down 2 reasons for each one while we're on the masterclass, and you can complete this at a later point. The reason this task is so important is because people don't buy nice to haves. They buy need to haves. Either they need it because they're in significant pain, or because they desire the outcome so much that they'll do anything to make it happen. So when you show up online, you need to have absolute, unwavering belief and confidence that you and your product or service is exactly what that person needs. So your thoughts and feelings about yourself, about your business, and about your services will affect the energy in which you show up. So this task here will help shift that. It works incredibly. I did this with a client once. She raised her prices and cut down her program to 3 months instead of 12. And she had 3 new high ticket clients that weekend just from doing this task. So it is a really powerful task, simple but powerful. And not only will this help create a mind shift for you, it will actually help you with content as well, because you can use these reasons and sort of bring them into your content when you are marketing. Okay, I'll just give you a minute to brainstorm a bit more on those questions there. Okay, so we're going to move on now. We're going to move on to emotional connection. People buy based on emotional connection. They buy based on emotion. And one of the biggest mistakes I see online is it's what I call the 3 Ps, okay? The 3 Ps of disconnection. People trying to be too perfect, too professional, or too prim and proper. Now, I'm not saying you can't be professional. Of course, we need to be professional. But we don't need to be those things all of the time, because that's not reality. That's not who we really are. And that creates a disconnection, because we're not actually being our natural, authentic self. And that shows up online. It creates a disconnection with our audience. So, of course, yes, we need the professional posts, but we also need those more relaxed you posts, you know? People want to see that you're human. They want to see that you're relatable and that you make mistakes and have flaws too. So if I go back to my health business to give you an example of this, I thought that I had to be perfect because I was a health coach at the time. I thought I couldn't show the world that sometimes I drink red wine and sometimes I eat cheesecake, because I was trying to show up as perfect. I thought that was what I needed to be to inspire my audience and to be successful. But I was wrong. And when I started working more on me and I started to let go of that perfectionism, I remember posting a picture of me drinking a glass of red wine once, and some people were shocked. Oh my God, I did not think you would drink red wine. Well, I am normal and human like the rest of you, you know? Some people were shocked, but others were like, oh, you're just like us. And that helped people connect to me more. And my business grew as a result. So showing people, like, and also in this business now with my inner work, I'm open about the times where I am going through my up levels and I'm having to do the inner work again, because it's a journey. And just because I'm not perfect, there's no such thing as perfect, it doesn't mean that I can't help people. And that's the same for you too. So the problem with the 3 Ps there, too perfect, too professional, too prim and proper, is the fact that it makes us pretend to be someone that we're not, to try and gain approval, for example, or try and be liked. And authenticity is the key to true relationship building. So what I recommend is speaking to the heart of your ideal client, as well as being authentic. Speaking to the heart, so speaking to how they feel, not just how they think. A lot of marketing only focuses on what people think. That's surface level stuff. How they feel impacts someone so much more than how someone thinks. But combining two, how they think and feel, is important. But when you're talking to the mind of your client, what I want you to imagine is that you're speaking to the higher self. You're speaking to that higher self of the client who, I much prefer aspirational marketing. I like to speak to the higher self of my client, what they want to achieve, rather than talking to the pain points all the time. Nothing is wrong with either of those. It's totally up to you what works best for you and your audience. There's two different approaches, or you can mix both. You can either speak to the pain points or what they desire, to their higher self, or you can use a mix of both. And this emotional connection is also known as the know, like, and trust factor, which I mentioned earlier. It comes through sharing value, consistently showing up, being transparent and authentic in your marketing. And it comes from taking the time to build those relationships through your content. The great thing about content is you can put out one piece of content and you can be building a relationship with hundreds or thousands of people at the same time. So it's a much more effective way of building relationships, time-effective way of building relationships than, for example, getting on a sales call with somebody for half an hour. So I'm going to give you specific examples on how you can create content that connects with people later on in the workshop. I just want to touch on the success saboteurs as well quickly, because the success saboteur archetypes are the they're like false masks that we wear that actually will work against the emotional connection that we're trying to create in our business. So there are 4 key things that block emotional connection. Some of you will have heard about these already, some of you haven't, but I'm just going to explain them quickly for those of you that haven't. I'm not going to go into huge detail because this is a whole other course entirely. I just want to give you some awareness of these. So these 4 things, the 4 success saboteur archetypes, can block emotional connection, not just with your audience, but in your life with people that you love and are close to as well. So we've got the overgiver, the imposter, the outcast, and the hustler. So these are false masks that we present to the outside world to gain approval and to stay safe. The problem is that these protection mechanisms that develop to keep us safe when we're younger, they actually keep us small and blocked as an adult, especially in our business. And they can hold you back for months or years or even a lifetime until they're brought into awareness and addressed. And I do always say that awareness is the first stage of change, so I'll just touch on these briefly for you to bring them into your awareness. We all have all 4 of these saboteur archetypes impacting on us in our business, but one of them will tend to be stronger than the others, which we call the primary saboteur archetype. So the overgiver, she has a strong desire to go above and beyond and even rescue people. So she will often, when it comes to content, she will give too much, put too much into her content, give too much away. And I'm someone who like genuinely believes that you can't ever give too much away. But I've seen some people who are like huge overgivers who give so much away in their content that people are not even buying from them. They give so much away for free. That's a sign of an overgiver. If you're giving away a lot of stuff for free and not getting any sales, you've definitely got the overgiver impacting on you. So her biggest issue is she doesn't feel enough. This is why she overgives. Then you've got the imposter success saboteur. So the imposter has usually achieved a degree of success in your life, but she believes that it's just luck, fluke, or chance. She doesn't really believe that she's as successful as other people think she is. So she feels like she's always like worried she's going to get found out, essentially. And her biggest struggle is trusting herself. So she doesn't really feel confident. She's putting on an act that she's confident. And where this tends to come up a lot in content and how it affects business is when people are trying to sell something that they haven't yet achieved or embodied. And I'm going to talk about that a bit more later. Then we've got the outcast. So the outcast is, her biggest issue is fear of being seen. It's not just fear of being seen or visible, but fear of being seen for who she really is. So she might be visible on social media. She might put out a lot of content, but she's not being her true self, because it's almost easier to risk being rejected for not being who you really are than it is to risk being rejected for who you actually really are, if that makes sense. And then the final one is the hustler saboteur. So the hustler believes that she has to work really hard in order to achieve the success that she wants. People will often comment how hard she works. Hustler and overgiver, they're quite interlinked as well. But whenever she starts to see success in one area, something in another area tends to give. So how this looks in marketing is you might show up for a while, be really consistent, and then all of a sudden you'll drop off the edge of the earth and people don't hear from you in ages. You know, you've just disappeared. Once you've started to get a little bit of success, you've pulled back and sabotaged it and disappeared again. So that is how the hustler tends to show up in marketing. So yeah, let me know if any of those resonate with you. You can heal just one of these success saboteur archetypes and you can see huge growth in your business. But when we heal the core wounds at the bottom of all four of them, this is when we're really able to unlock the leader, our authentic leader archetype. And this is where we access our hidden potential. We literally have no fears about showing up online as who we really are. And you like market like a boss, that's all I can say. Because you've unlocked all that hidden potential. You're fearless. So let's move on to number 3 then, which is elegant storytelling. So the first sentence I've got here, the first thing I want to share with you is the story that you least want to tell is probably the one that most needs to be heard. So many of us have a fear of being found out or judged for something in our past, which often holds you back in business and keeps you small and makes you hide a bit in terms of your marketing and social media. And that's because we feel shame or shamed. Maybe we feel ashamed that we were bullied, or we feel ashamed that we were made redundant, or ashamed that we didn't do very well at school. Everyone's got their own thing that they feel ashamed about. And sometimes the fear of showing up more on social media is that people may find out about our past. So what you can do is you can take your power back and you can be the one to tell that story that you're most ashamed of in your own way. Because there's a power that comes from owning your story. It frees you from judgment and shame. It takes away the fear that someone else could use that story against you. If we look at some women who've embraced the power of vulnerability and owned their story, if you look at someone like Gabby Bernstein, she's an incredibly successful author and motivational speaker. She's open about the fact she used to be a drug addict. That hasn't stopped her becoming a multimillionaire. Yeah, she used that story in a powerful way. She told it in a way that helped people and released shame, her shame. And nobody could then out her. Nobody could shame her about her past or use it against her because she already told the story and she had the power of telling it in the way that she wanted to. She took ownership over it and she used her story for good. And then we've got Oprah Winfrey as well. Oprah was open about her childhood of harrowing sexual abuse. And she's known as one of the most influential women in the world. When we share our stories in an elegant way, we are sharing from a place of healing, not from a place of wounding. We're not sharing it to get validation or attention in any way. We're sharing it with a purpose of helping the person who's reading it to feel not alone and to get a breakthrough of their own. Okay? And we're also sharing with intention. We're sharing with intention and with purpose. So we're connecting the stories that we share to your doing and your being. And what I mean by that is your business and what you do, and your being is who you are. We're intentionally and purposefully connecting stories that we share to what we do and sell and to who we are. And it doesn't always have to be stories about your past that you share. It can be that we see the story in every day. And I wrote this quote as I was going through this workshop. See the story in every day, and every day becomes a story worth telling. Also, I wanted to talk to you about something I call soul code keys. Like, I truly believe that the things that we go through in our life, which are our life lessons, they're actually part of your life purpose. And they are connected to what you're meant to be doing in your business, because your business is actually a vehicle to fulfilling your purpose. So I'm going to give you a structure for how to do this elegant storytelling later. So if that's what you're thinking, just that is coming up. You're going to get lots of structures and examples and things to help you with this. Okay, let's move on to number 4, which is embodiment. So, embodiment. Embodiment is all about being your own best testimonial. So something I see a lot amongst women entrepreneurs is this belief that they have to do it all alone to earn their success. Everyone needs support with their growth, and that has to come from outside of them, because our own mind sees things through the distortions of our own wounds. So there's things that people outside of you can help you see that you can't see yourself, essentially. So I've got some questions for you to reflect on. I know there's women with all different types of businesses on this call, but do you practice what you preach? Do you actually use the products or services that you sell? If you're a coach, do you have a coach? If you're a therapist, do you have a therapist? And if not, why not? And like, a very serious question is, how can you expect others to invest in you if you don't invest in the same services that you provide? One of the key reasons I am successful at selling what I sell is because I'm the living proof and embodiment of what I sell. If I wasn't successful, people would not buy success from me. When I had my product business, I actually ate the food that I made myself every day. It was part of my own weight loss journey. And I shared the pictures of the food that I was eating as I was eating it, half-eaten pictures of food. And people loved that. They loved that more than the professional shots. I did my own detox for my health business and I shared my results. I do the inner work on myself repeatedly in my business now, and that's how I sell. I am the embodiment of the result that my client wants. And again, I mentioned this earlier, this lack of embodiment is usually one of the key reasons that imposter success saboteur comes up really strong. When people are trying to sell something they've not yet achieved or embodied. Now, for me, the most successful people are those who sell their journey to what they've achieved. And you've all achieved something. You've all achieved something that somebody else would love to be where you are with that thing. So you're always where someone else wants to be, and you're enough exactly as you are right now for that person. So it's really about embodiment, being your own best testimonial. This is one of the key things to attracting more sales. So some examples I see where imposter syndrome comes up really strong and people really struggle to get off the ground with their business is where, for example, they're a business coach and they're trying to sell how to reach 6 figures when they've never achieved that themselves and they haven't helped anybody else achieve it either. There's an imbalance or a disconnect or a lack of alignment there between what the person's trying to sell and what they've actually achieved or had results with. And this is where embodiment is important. And they struggle to get clients authentically. So when it comes to embodiment, you don't need to be perfect to help others. There's no such thing as perfect. But if there's something you've already mastered and embodied, you would be able to very easily sell this in full authenticity and alignment. This creates an energetic match with the thing that you're trying to sell, and it leads to more sales and more success. And you just start where you are right now, because as you evolve, your business evolves too. So you can still sell and make money if you're not an embodiment of what you sell. However, we're talking about the principles of sold out success here, and this does come from energetic alignment. When you step into this alignment with what you sell by being the embodiment of it, you will have sales with so much more ease every time you promote your offers. So I just want you to reflect on how can you be the embodiment of the result that your client wants. Then we've got expertise. Expertise. So expertise is the very doing part, the masculine energy part of your marketing, in my opinion. And this is sharing your expert knowledge about your field of work, things that you see your clients, things you see in your clients, like patterns that you see, opinions that you've formed, sort of educational type posts, giving tips. These are all expertise examples of marketing, and they demonstrate you as the expert, or they give some value to your clients. The great thing about expertise is it positions you as the expert, because there are things that you learn from working with clients or working in your business that you cannot learn from any book. And these are the best things that you can share in your business, things that you haven't learned, but things that are from your own personal and professional experiences. They're completely yours. They belong to you. They're your opinions. They're your unique expert knowledge. The great thing about these expertise posts as well is they double up as evidence, which is the next point I want to talk to you about. So I really believe that evidence is probably the most important part of any marketing when it comes to sales. People are always looking for social proof. And when I ask my clients why they've signed up with me, at the end of the package, I always ask my clients what made them sign up with me. I'd say about 95% of them said seeing the results that I share, the evidence that I share of my work online. So evidence can be several different things. It can be your results, your client results, and just evidence that you're worth investing in. So that could be things like evidence that you invest in yourself, evidence that you're always upgrading your skill set and your own mindset, evidence that you are your own best testimonial. Yeah, so they all tie in. All of this helps someone decide whether they want to buy from you or not. Now we've got every day, number 7. So this is about sharing the person behind the business, sharing who you are. So this is the being part of your marketing, your feminine energy in your marketing. And this is giving people a glimpse into your life, showing them your dreams, your personality, your values. It's about showing them who you are when you are not selling something. And every day means sharing your everyday life. Just sharing your everyday life, who you are, who is the normal person behind the business. And then every day means post every day. Yeah, so there's 2 meanings to this. There's sharing who you are in everyday life and sharing who you are every day, but marketing every day as well. So my audience loves my posts about autocorrect fails, funny things that my young son says, normal everyday life things about like what I'm up to with my partner, things about my interest in spirituality, because all of these things, they make me seem like a normal, relatable person. And they get to know who I am rather than just what I do. They get to build deep emotional connection with me through these posts that share who I am. So another thing about the everyday posting every day, the reason this is important is because you want to be at the forefront of your clients' minds. And there's somebody I follow called Ron Reich. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he calls it being prolific. So the more content you put out, the more you get seen. And it really doesn't always have to be genius content. I have a lot of content that's just like a one-liner, a quote or an affirmation or a truth bomb, as I like to call them. And they are probably some of the most popular pieces of content that I put out. So if anything, I want to show you a huge mix of different types of content. You don't have to post a masterpiece every single time you put a piece of content out. And I think that's what holds some people back as well. They think that they have to spend ages crafting the most perfect post, when really you could just put one sentence out there and have just as much impact and just as much engagement, if not more. If you look at the high earners out there, they do post several times a day. That might feel like a lot right now, but you can build up to it. I would say minimum 3 times a day, using a mix of the posts that I'm going to teach you in the rest of this masterclass, would be a great place to start, and you can build from there. Marketing is the foundation of your sales. If you want more sales, you have to get more comfortable with marketing. So even if you dedicate an hour a day to marketing, that's an hour well spent, because that's revenue generating activity. We want to obviously encourage inquiries. So if you don't ask, you don't get. Everything you post should be aimed at encouraging inquiries. So there's a direct correlation between the more call to actions that you have in your posts, the more inboxes and inquiries you will get from people wanting to ask about your service and potentially buy your service or product. So adding call to actions on your posts, I know it's a simple thing, but people think they do it more than they actually do. Yeah, that's right. People think they do it more than they actually do. And really, they're not putting that many calls to actions on their posts. asking people to inbox them for more information, or letting people know that they've got space to work with them, for example. Number 9 is engagement. So the whole point of marketing is we want people to engage in it. The aim of marketing is to create meaningful interactions that nurture relationships. And what happens is it builds this compound effect. So as I mentioned earlier, we're building multiple relationships at the same time, multiple times a day. One of the key things with engagement is to try and interact with everyone who comments on your posts. And as you grow, this does get a lot harder. But you can employ people to help you with building and nurturing those relationships as time goes on. And then there's also adding what I call engagement call to actions that don't ask for a sale, but they're purely for relationship building and interaction. So it could be something like you write a post and the last sentence on the post will be something like, what are your thoughts on this? So you're encouraging people to actually comment and engage with that post. And the more people that engage in your posts, the more other people will see those posts because it gets bumped up on Facebook or Instagram, whatever social media platform you're using. I'm a bigger fan of Facebook. And then number 10 is excitement. So are you actually excited about your business? Are you excited about what you sell? Are you excited to serve people your products and services? And if not, why not? And what can you do to change that if you're not? Okay, because excitement is infectious. Excitement is attractive. And excitement is part of that energy in which you show up that attracts people and magnetizes people to wanting to work with you. So just reflect on, what do you love about what you do? Just to try and tap into that excitement again. What do you love about what you do? How does your business help you? How does your business help others? And how does your business help the world? And try and ignite that excitement again. If you're not excited about your business, something needs to change. Okay. So they're the 10 principles, or the 10 E's of sold out success on social media. And now we're going to move on to the types of content that you can use to achieve that sold out success. So I'm going to be talking to you about 7 types of content. I'm going to give you structures for these and examples as well. So we've got the elegant storytelling post, a storytelling sales post, truth bombs and quotes, expertise posts, sharing your wins posts, engagement posts, and case study posts. Case studies are client result posts. So this is literally going to be jam-packed of sales and marketing tips for you now. And just go into it with an open mind. You don't have to use all of these things. It's about taking what you do want to use and leaving what you don't, or tweaking it in a way that feels good to you. And honestly, I genuinely feel like you could just take one of these things and apply them in your business and you will see results. But if you apply them all, that's when things are really going to skyrocket for you. So let's look at the elegant storytelling post then. So this is the structure. There's 4 parts to it. There's a captivating headline, what happened, so the background of the story, how you overcame or changed it, and then the silver lining principle. I'll explain the silver lining principle a bit more. So I really believe that no matter how awful an experience you've had, there's always a silver lining. And sometimes it doesn't feel like it at first, But when you can start to almost rewrite the story by reframing a bad experience into a positive one, it helps you take your power back over the experience. So you can let it break you or let it make you. And having gone through a lot of extremely difficult experiences in my life, reframing them in this way really helped me heal and overcome them. And I truly believe in what I mentioned earlier, these soul code keys, that you're given these experiences as part of your soul purpose, that you're meant to be helping other people through them in some way. It might not always be the obvious way. So the silver lining principle, it comes from reflection. It comes from looking back and reflecting and rewriting the story in your mind and in your marketing. And hopefully what you'll see is that every experience you've had has contributed to the incredible, strong woman that you are today. And if you went through a really difficult experience, if somebody hurt you, you can take that power away from them by rewriting your story and using it in a way that makes you stronger. And this is what sets you free. So here are some pointers for figuring out your silver lining principle. What did you learn from it? What happened as a result of the changes that you made? How does this snippet of your story help other people? How did it make you stronger? What are the positives that came from it? What lessons did it teach you about life, about you, or about others? So an example of a silver lining principle, it often starts with, if I hadn't gone through this experience, or this experience taught me an important lesson about. And often with these, I say to my clients, practice writing them just for you first and foremost, because it's although it's a marketing tool, it's actually a very healing tool as well. So write it for you first and foremost. I've given you a couple of examples here. So you can see at the top, I've underlined the headline just to show you that's the captivating headline. If there's one piece of advice I could share, it would be to turn your biggest struggles into your biggest successes. If I hadn't struggled for years with my weight, eating disorders, exercise addiction, and lack of self-love, I wouldn't be changing the lives of thousands of women struggling with the same thing. If I hadn't had rubbish relationships, I wouldn't be able to know my worth and attract and truly appreciate the amazing relationship I have today. If I hadn't struggled with fertility issues that were caused by my harmful attempts at losing weight and the abuse of my body, I wouldn't recognize the true miracle of having a child that doesn't come so easily to everyone. So many people take fertility for granted. If I hadn't struggled with postnatal depression and becoming a single mum last year, so it's a while ago now, but this post was written a year after that, I wouldn't have taken the plunge to leave my social work career and risk going into my business full time. And in that, 6 times its revenue, hitting multiple 5-figure months in the space of 8 months. Although it doesn't feel like it at the time, every experience is a lesson, and sometimes a blessing in disguise. How you use it is down to you. You can let it break you or let it make you. Remember, your biggest struggle becomes your biggest success. How can you own your story and take your power back and create something good from pain? Now, I shared that one on purpose because it's relevant to the whole point of storytelling. Yeah, the message that I'm trying to share with you here. I've put the bottom part in bold just to highlight that that's actually a call to action, but it's the lesson as well. And that part that says, although it doesn't feel like it at the time, every experience is a lesson, that's the silver lining principle in this story. I've got another one here, a more recent one that I put out. People like me aren't supposed to be this successful. I was the poor kid, the fat kid, the quiet kid, the bullied kid, the abused kid. But do you know what has been a key shift that helped me grow a global business worth multi-millions in a short space of time? Giving myself permission. I give myself permission to be wildly successful. I give myself permission to break stereotypes that people from poor backgrounds can't have incredible success. I give myself permission to break free from the chains of my past trauma. I give myself permission to believe that money flows to me easily and I don't have to trade time for money. I give myself permission to dream big. I give myself permission to have boundaries and high standards in my personal life and business. I give myself permission to have it all. You see, the thing about permission is, when you give yourself permission, you give everyone around you permission to give themselves permission too. How's that for a tongue twister? So there's the story, there's the background, there's what I did to change it. I gave myself permission. And the silver lining principle, that final sentence, when you give yourself permission, you give everyone else around you permission to give themselves permission too. So these are examples of elegant storytelling. They are meant to create an emotional connection. They are meant to resonate with people. They're meant to be transformational for the person reading it. So this is a task that I want to set for you around this elegant storytelling. I want you to think about 3 difficult or life-changing experiences that you've had in your life that have contributed to why or how you are the person that you are today. Then I want you to rewrite your story using the silver lining principle that I just taught you. What lessons did it teach you about life, about others? There's bonus points if you can link it to your business and what you sell in some way. Or even link it to why you started your business, for example. So I'm going to give you just a couple of minutes to do one of those now before moving on. Let me just go back to the structure so you've got that. So have a little go at one of those now. Okay. So yeah, try and do all 3. And if you're feeling brave, share it on your social media. So I just wanted to touch on a storytelling sales post now. It's literally the same thing, but you add a call to action and an image. Okay, you can use an image on the other one that we just went through as well, but it depends what platform you're using. However, for some reason, selfies get the most engagement and attraction than a professional photo. So I know for like Instagram, professional photos are probably better because Instagram's more of an image type platform, whereas Facebook selfies just work the best. And I don't know why. I don't know the psychology behind it, but selfies get much more attention and engagement than a professional photo shoot photo, for example. So to turn that into a sales post, all you would do is very simple. You just add a call to action on. So you want to make sure that obviously the story that you're telling links well into the call to action. Otherwise, it won't make sense. So you want to make sure that the story that you're telling is linked to what you are selling and asking people to do in the call to action at the end. That's the most important thing with turning something into a sales post or creating a sales post. So you'll talk about what happened. So the problem, essentially, what changed. Sorry, not what changed, how you overcame it and changed it. That's the result. And the silver lining principle, which is the lesson, the advice, or the inspiration or knowledge. And then you would have your call to action. And if you don't, or if you're not clear what that is, it's a sentence where you're asking the reader to do something. You're asking them to take action. So that action might be sign up for my program. It might be I've got 3 spaces for one-to-one. It might be I'm running a webinar. Click on the link below to sign up. Like, these are all examples of a call to action. The biggest, or another big mistake that I see, is people put really great content out there and they never put a call to action. So they're not getting sales. Like, you have to make it simple and obvious to people that you are available to work with or that you have something to sell them. I've given a couple of examples here. I'm not going to read them out because we'll be here all night. But just examples of how I've used this. There's 2 different posts. The first 2 columns are one post, and then there's the final column, which is a separate post. So that final one is a story about money and love. And it begins with a quote. So I could use that quote as just a standalone quote, or I've used it as part of a fuller story post here. And I'm talking about my hustler success saboteur and how it's affected me believing that I can have money and love. And I've connected that to working with me one-to-one. That's the call to action. Now I'm going to show you the truth bomb and quote posts. So remember what I said, you don't have to always post masterpieces. These truth bombs and quotes, they're probably some of the most engaged posts that I put out there. And I will usually post them in the morning. So the first post that I share is usually one of these. You're knowing all my inside secrets now, and you're going to be able to spot it. So yeah, I usually start with just a 1-sentence thing like this. And they're an example of expertise posts, but shorter version, they're very quick and easy for you to write, and they're very quick and easy for the person reading them. And the reason I use these first thing in the morning is because they get a high engagement. And what happens is people engage with these posts. A lot of people engage with these posts, and they're more likely to see my sales posts that I post next. So these boost my algorithm, the Facebook algorithm, whatever you want to call it. And I like to make up my own quotes to demonstrate my expertise, but you can use other people's quotes as well. Sometimes I'll use other people's quotes, but you reference them if you do use others' quotes. Or you can use affirmations that are, if that's relevant to your business. When I use affirmations, they tend to have a really positive response as well. So you can use affirmations or other people's quotes until you're feeling more confident with creating your own. Or you can see there's an affirmation there. I am lovable even when I'm doing nothing. Over 107 people engaged, 15 comments. That was like a high performing organic post. And truth bombs So that would be like the top one. The people who don't like your boundaries are the people who benefited from you not having them. Over 145 people engaged with that. The truth bombs are best if they're professional insights from your work. So another one that's really popular that's not on here is you don't have a lack of clarity, you have a lack of self-trust. Now that was a professional insight. I didn't learn that from a book. I didn't learn it from anybody else. I learned it from the work that I do with my clients. And people read that and they have profound shifts. They have realizations about themselves. They quite often say they feel like they've been physically hit with a realization just from these one sentence posts. So if you can nail these, it will really add a layer of expertise and a layer of highly transformational content to your marketing that will help you stand out. So the behind this lack of clarity, lots of women were coming to me saying, I haven't got any clarity. And every time I was doing the deep subconscious therapeutic work with them, it turned out it wasn't a lack of clarity. It was actually a lack of self-trust. So that's where it came from. So I really believe, like, this is some of my favorite content to put out. I love it. And it's just one sentence. It doesn't take long. And giving someone a realization about themselves in one sentence, I believe is like the pinnacle of showing that you know what you're talking about. You are an expert. And that you're so confident you can put a one-liner out and believe that it's going to transform people just from reading that. So the truth bombs and the quotes, they're examples of expertise posts if they are your own that you're making up. They would be still great content if they are other people's that you're sharing and referencing, but they're not as impactful in sort of terms of showing your expertise if you're sharing other people's expertise. So if you can come up with your own, amazing, even better. While you're getting more confident with that, you can share other people's with reference to them. So we got long form expertise posts as well as the truth bombs and the one-liners. So these are usually where you're sharing some tips. So as you can see, that first one, I'm sharing 6 different marketing tips, and then I am putting a call to action into this masterclass. So what I'm sharing is relevant to the call to action. It all sort of blends in. But somebody can read that post and they could take those tips and they could actually get really good results with that without ever buying anything from me. So you're giving a lot of value in these posts, but also you are asking for the sale as well. But most people will just read that, and if they are not interested in buying from you, they won't feel offended that you've asked for the sale at the end because they've got so much value from reading the post. And then there's another example, another recent one around the golden parent. So again, this is me sharing my professional insights, concepts that I've developed through my work that make me stand out as an expert. So another thing is like sharing opinions, sharing your opinions, which is, we shy away from these things. Lots of people are scared to do this because they're worried about what people will think and say, which again is why the inner work is so important when it comes to being able to fully show up online. And we've got sharing your wins posts. So when we share our wins, also what I wanted to say is all of these things I discovered accidentally. So I've had to reverse engineer my business, so to speak, to teach this to other people. So these are just things that I did naturally. And then I noticed that lots of people sort of bought from me or became clients. And so none of this was like a strategy when it started out. I've just had to reverse engineer and turn it into strategies to teach to you. So I was genuinely just sharing my excitement over my business in the earlier stages of business. And what I noticed, sharing my wins, and what I noticed was, wow, they get so much engagement. When you share your wins, either on your own personal page or in a group that you're a part of, they get so much engagement. And I really believe they attract people to you, and like people to want to work with you. So these are just some examples of sharing my wins posts. And I had to get over my fear of talking about money, my own money blocks. I've had a huge journey with money blocks, but I really had to get over that fear to share my wins, because part of what I do is I help people increase their financial, I help them up level financially. So I can't sell helping people with money and up level financially if I can't even confidently share my own financial results. It's out of alignment. So your sharing your wins might not be money related, it might be something else. But if it's related to your business, even better. If it's related to what you sell, even better. And these are examples of evidence and engagement, because people, they are highly engaged posts. Look how many people have engaged, over 120 people. It's just one sentence. Again, the last one is slightly more than a sentence. But I combined that last one, the reason I put that there. So the first two, they're not sales posts. They're purely sharing my win. However, and sharing a client's win. So it's not just sharing your win, it's sharing a client's win as well. And then that last one, I've made it a sales post by adding a call to action. So I'm sharing the success that the offer has had, and then turning it into a sales post by asking for the sale with the call to action on the end. And look how much engagement that one had. Over 156 people, 37 comments. It's crazy. And remember, all of this is organic as well. The next type of post I want to talk about is case studies, okay? So sharing your clients' results is so important. It's evidence. Evidence is one of the 10 E's. It's evidence that A, that you have clients, and B, that you're good at what you do, okay? And there's a structure that I use that is just something I developed myself as time has gone on, that has been really powerful in presenting my client case studies or results, however you want to describe it as. So what a lot of people do is they make the mistake of waiting for clients to give them testimonials. So that means you have to wait until you finish your work with them and wait for them to, find the time to put a testimonial together. And people are busy. I've lost count of the amount of clients who've had incredible results with me that I haven't had a testimonial from them because too much time has passed and they've moved on and they're doing other things and they're busy. So I started doing my client testimonials a different way. I started writing them for the client, and I'll explain what I mean by this now. So I will go through the notes of our work together and I'll pull out what was going on with them before they started, the transformations that they've told me about as we've gone through the work together, and the results that they've shared with me. So although I'm writing it for them, I'm writing it from things they've already told me during our work together. This is just one way you can share results, okay? I'll give you a couple of other ways as well. So I will write it for them, and then I'll present it to them like, here are your results. So again, it's reinforcing the amazing results that they've had in their package. And then I'll ask them for a few sentences in their words that I can put with it to share on social media. And they give me the okay to go ahead. So it's always checked with them first. If there's any tweaks that need to be made, they tweak it. But, I work with busy women, busy people. They don't always have time to think about putting a testimonial together. And sometimes they forget like really important transformational bits that happened as well. So you can do this with your clients too. And here's a structure that I use on the post. So I'll introduce the client and what they do, the reason that they came to work with me, how I help them. So you talk about how you help them. You might talk about your specific method that you use. So I say using success imprinting and coaching, I blah, 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 blah. And then the results that they had. And then the quote from the client in their words. So as I said, you might be able to pull this together from your notes that you have of your records that you have of this client and get them to sign it off. Because I work with business owners, I try to share their business link as well. And then I will add a call to action because I'm sharing that testimonial in the intention of A, celebrating that client, and B, attracting other clients. So I'll put a call to action. If you want to work with me one-to-one, inbox me about this package, for example. And you might have an image of the client. Now, you can do these anonymously as well if that works for your business. I know different things work for different people. So you can do that anonymously. And so instead of a picture of the client, you might have like a nice graphic that you make on Canva that has got a snippet of the testimonial written on it. So this is the most powerful way you can share results. I've tested them all. Now, what people tend to do is just share a screenshot. You can do that as well. I do that sometimes. I like to put them in my stories as images. Or they just share just the client's words. And sometimes that doesn't really give someone the full picture. And doing it this way really takes the reader on the journey. It takes them on the journey of where this person was before, where they were struggling, helps them see themselves in that journey, and really shows them the transformation that they had afterwards. So I've given an example here. I'm not going to read it all out. There's too much to read. But, I've talked a little bit about where she was struggling. She'd hit an income plateau. Which archetypes were impacting her, what she wanted, the method I've used, and then I've used emojis to break up the text as well. So it's important to break up long pieces of content to be more attractive to the reader. So using emojis and sort of extra gaps between paragraphs, things like that, help break it up and make it more likely that someone will read it. Then we've got engagement posts. So these posts are purely for people to engage and interact. And I've given a couple of examples here. So the great thing is quite a new thing, I think, or I've only discovered it recently, is this background color that you can use on a short post on Facebook. It really makes it stand out. And I use it for these little engagement posts where I say drop an emoji. And getting people to drop emojis and engage with the post, again, it affects the algorithm positively. So more people will see that post in their news feeds, the more people that interact with it. So I use it on things like a freebie. So getting people to sign up to my freebie without advertising, without marketing, Facebook marketing spend. And I use it on offers as well. So I used it on a recent £99 offer where I got people to drop an emoji if they wanted the offer. And it went crazy. And that, I think it sold, I think it was 120 in the end. So £12,000 in 24 hours. And this was one of the key things I used to sell it. It was this engagement post where I asked people to drop an emoji if they were interested. It created like excitement and other people could see how many other people were interested and therefore sold more. Okay. So there are the different types of content. Now, you might have got to this point and be thinking, well, what do I actually write about? Let me help you with that. I really think business is a lot simpler than people make it out to be. And you can be simple with things and still be really effective. So this is literally the only plan that I have in my business. Genuinely, I've grown my business to 6-figure months with this as my only plan. A 3-month structure that I use, and I teach this to my clients as well. So your content should always be guided by what you are trying to sell. I know that sounds simple, but for some reason, not everybody understands this. So all roads should lead to what you are selling. And to keep this super simple, I use a 3-month structure. So there is a monthly intention based around what I'm selling that guides all of the content I put out for that month. So for example, month 1, I'm selling one-to-one. That's my intention. That's what guides my content for the month. So if it's month 1 in my cycle and I'm selling one-to-one, I will share quotes linked to doing the deep inner work. I will share elegant stories about my own one-to-one transformations. I will share expertise posts linked to one-to-one client session discoveries. I will share one-to-one client case studies and testimonials. I'll share my wins about what I've achieved through one-to-one work and what my clients have achieved in their one-to-one packages. And I do not stop taking intentional action, aka marketing, until I've sold everything I want to sell. So I will go all out and I'll continue to post daily until I've filled my one-to-one spaces. Then month 2, I'll move on to selling something else. Sometimes I sell 2 things in 1 month, but I don't want to confuse you here because I've obviously built up to this. When I first started, I had a 3-month structure and I only focused on 1 thing for each month. So month 2, you would move on to your group program. And if you've got a product-based business, you would just, month 1, you'd sell 1 product. Everything goes into that product. All roads, whatever you post, lead to that product, are related to that product in some way. Month 2, it would be a different product. Month 3, another one again. So the way this might look in a service-based business, month 1, you could sell your one-to-one. Month 2, sell your group signature program. Month 3, maybe you've got a membership that you can sell. So I hope that makes sense. It's really simple, but it works. This is how I've grown my business to the level where I am now. So just to recap, you have an intention for the month. I call it your monthly marketing intention. The intention is the thing that you're selling. All content should be linked or related to that thing that you're selling that month. So I'm going to share with you one of my strategies. Now, all the things I've talked to you about today in this masterclass, you can use them on any platform, any social media. Now, I really like using my personal page as a funnel, and I'm going to talk to you about this so that you can see if you want to use this strategy in your business. When I started doing this, my business dramatically grew. So it's probably my favorite strategy, if you want to call it that. Again, it was accidental that I discovered this. I actually, my background in social work was very professional. You weren't allowed to be Facebook friends with any clients, service users as we called them back then. So I used to be very private and have quite a big cutoff between my personal life and my business. And then, like, I even remember when some some clients would try and friend request me, I thought it was really strange, and it really like got my back up a little bit because I was so used to strict rules where you're not friends with people who are customers or consumers, for example. Anyway, I started networking in business groups and connecting with all the women that I was networking with. And then they became clients. So it was a complete accident that I realized that networking on my personal page, like genuine networking with people that I was meeting and building friendships with, actually they got to know me on a more personal level through my personal page, which led to them becoming clients. So some people set up a separate personal and professional Facebook page, but I don't feel like that's authentic. I've always just used one. Like if you're friends with me on Facebook, that is my genuine personal page. And I feel like setting up two is quite time consuming, less authentic, and it actually detracts from people getting to know you on that more personal, intimate level too. But it comes down to personal choice. If you want a separate personal business page, you can do that, or you can use your own, whatever you feel more comfortable with. So the aim is to use your page as a networking and marketing tool, mixing personal and business, mixing the doing and the being, yeah? Mixing masculine and feminine energy. You do need to be careful to not share links or not be too promotional with this strategy on a personal page because it's against Facebook rules. However, there's a way around it, and that is not posting links on your page and it actually being your personal page, as well as the occasional mention of business, because most of the time you're not selling, you're creating relationships. So how it works then, you'll post a mix of the posts that we've talked about with personal posts, so having that balance of both so that Facebook doesn't highlight you up as using your profile for business. It's about really being you and being authentic. Try to keep it positive and relevant to your audience or ideal client. Networking in groups that your ideal client hangs out in. And establishing, and personally adding them as a friend. I'm going to tell you a bit more about how you get the people onto your personal page in the first place. And focus on giving value and establishing yourself as the expert. You might want to optimize your personal page for business as well and change your bio to what you do and who you help, or add your website on there so that as soon as somebody clicks on your personal page, they get directed to your business. And some don'ts around this: don't be overly negative or critical or complaining. Don't post sales links in the posts. You can add them into your comments or send them to people who want more information via Messenger. Don't be too salesy all of the time. Like, genuinely, I have changed my mind around that now. Because I sell a lot, but people don't always think that because I'm always putting value in my posts first. So I actually really don't think you can be too salesy if you're doing it in the way that I've taught you. And don't message people first, okay? So the whole point of this, what I'm teaching you, is how to magnetize people to you. We don't send cold messages like, hi, how are you? Or we don't send people messages asking them to buy from us first. We wait until they inquire. And the clients will come to you asking for more information if you follow these things when you put an offer out. I wanted to talk to you about posting in others' groups and how you can grow your audience using your personal page as a funnel. So I've got 3 tips or strategies to share with you around this. And they go hand in hand with using your personal page as a funnel. And it works amazingly well to build an audience of highly engaged, ideal clients So I'm going to be talking to you about how you use market research polls, which I don't use anymore, but they were important for me in building to where I am now. Sharing your wins in other people's groups, and also high value posts, which I call client magnet posts, which they're almost blog-like in length, and they combine elegant storytelling and expertise into one post. And again, these are things that I discovered accidentally on my journey to building my business to where I am now. And these strategies are all free. They're free to use, free ways of building your audience. Okay, so let's look at the market research strategy then. As I said, I don't use this anymore, but I did use it quite a lot in the earlier stages of building to probably to 6 figures. So I want you to find some groups with high numbers, but the group has to be unrelated to your specific niche. So the reason this is important is because it's bad etiquette to go into a competitor's group, for example, and to try and poach their clients. And this is what some people are taught to do, or try to do, and they end up getting kicked out of the groups and things like that. So if you find a group, like a massive group, I'm talking tens of thousands of people in there, and the group's not related to what you do, but your ideal client is likely to be in there. So for example, networking groups for business women are great for this sort of thing. So you've got like Mums in Business Association, which has got like, I don't know, 50,000 plus people in there. Like, there is bound to be some people in there that are your ideal client. And your market research strategy and the client magnet post I'm going to teach you will literally magnetize the ideal clients out of the massive groups that you use to do this. So with this strategy, you create a poll for market research. Sorry, yawning. You create a poll for market research, and your poll is going to be focused on areas that your services cover. So it's great market research for you, but also it actually highlights anyone in that group who could be a potential customer for your services. And you will friend request everyone who responds to the poll by adding them to your personal page. Now, not everyone will accept that, and that's totally fine. That's their personal choice. But you add them as a friend because A, you know that person has the problem that you can solve. B, they've engaged with your post. So they're a potential ideal client. So here's some examples that I did. The first one's from my health business. So I've said what I do. And I was planning my next workshop and which of these terms do they most relate to or want support with. And you can see it is market research. It's genuine market research, feeling energized and losing weight with the top 2. So I'm going to use those terms in my marketing. Do you want to feel energized and lose weight? But also I'm friend requesting everyone who has taken part in this poll because they are a potential ideal client for this as well. And the second one you can see here, this one was when I was doing my mindset stuff with business owners in the earlier days. So I think that's probably about 2 years ago. Which of these mindset issues do you most struggle with? And I've put a list. But that list, I help people with any of those issues. So anybody who's taken part in this poll is a potential ideal client. I will connect with them and add them as a friend. The point is you connect with people, you network with people, as I call it, online networking, connect with them, and you let your personal page do the talking for you. So now and then they'll see a picture of you talking about your day or whatever it is, like just a natural post about you. Then they'll see something about your business which will catch their attention because they have that problem. You know they have that problem. That's why you've connected with them. So it's very targeted networking. Then you've got the sharing your wins strategy. So this, we've talked about sharing your wins posts that you can post on your own pages. This is about posting it in other people's groups. So it could be like groups that you're part of, memberships, paid programs, anything. And again, like I said, this is all stuff that I did naturally and then realized helped me get more sales afterwards. So I'm talking about a webinar in that post, talking about a webinar and how I'd overcome my visibility fears and some feedback on the webinar that I'd had. So you're sharing your wins in groups where your ideal client might be likely to see them, which is, I guess, a subtle self-promotion that's not considered against group rules. And you genuinely are sharing a win. Like, this is the important thing. You're genuinely excited and proud of yourself for something that's happened, and you're sharing that, but it also doubles up as it attracts people to want to work with you as well. So you would just post that in a group that you're a part of or a network that you're a part of to attract people to you. It attracts interest, and even if somebody doesn't connect with you as a friend, they might have a little nose at your Facebook page. They'll click on your website. They'll look at your business page as a result if you've got links to those on your personal page. And then we've got the client magnet method. So this is really powerful. I probably still do this occasionally. Maybe I did it once a week or once every couple of weeks in the earlier days, maybe once a month now. So you will find 2 or 3 groups, which you should already have if you found it for the market research posts. You'll find 2 or 3 groups with high numbers, again, unrelated to your specific niche. I want you to write 2 or 3 extremely high value posts. So they're almost blog-like in length, and they combine elegant storytelling and expertise. And they must link to what you do in your business and what you sell, okay? And then you would share them in those groups on a rotation basis. So you will never post the same one at the same time in multiple groups, because that gets picked up as spam. The key is you must reply to everyone who comments on it. And also, you will then friend request everyone who comments, likes, or loves the post. And if you're being really picky, you might only want to friend request people who love the post. Now, the combination of elegant storytelling, so part of your story combined with expertise that links to what you sell, literally magnetizes extremely ideal clients out of that group, because they're the only people that are going to engage with it. The only people that will engage are people who resonate with you, how you are sharing your story, and resonate with what you're talking about. So this is very specific attraction within a group that only involves you posting this and engaging on the post. It doesn't involve you answering a million questions on other people's posts to try and gain clients. You would connect with them, and again, you let your personal page do the talking. They'll continue to see this mix of personal and business content that you're putting out, and every piece of content they see builds that relationship with you further, building their trust and building their connection to you. So I've got an example of one of these posts that I've done in the past that was really popular, really successful. And it's all around my experiences on hitting money goals. So talk about my experiences, and then I've given all of these tips, and I've used an emoji to break them down because it's a long post. Like I say, they're almost blog-like in length. You could even double it up as a blog. You could send it as an email as well. And I've given like 7 to 10 tips of how I overcame my money blocks, essentially. And there's never a call to action on these posts. When you're posting in other people's groups, you don't put call to actions on because you're not allowed to sell in those groups. These are pure attraction posts. Attraction and networking and growing your audience for free using these. And this post gets a lot of engagement, but it's linked. One of the key things I help people with was overcoming their money blocks. So it was linked to what I sell. And this is how you can see where this embodiment stuff is so important. If you can sell things that you have achieved, or if it's products, you're always using these products and you're showing people that you're using these products, it's really important to help you sell what you're selling. I just wanted to touch on content presentation as well, which we kind of, we've picked up on it as we've gone through this. And Esmeralda, one of my clients, she very kindly gave me permission to share this. This is from a group program where she wrote this piece of content, and then I took the piece of content to turn it into something that would be more attractive to her ideal client. So I'm going to show you the before and after and give you a few tips on that. So the thing with this, the content is good, but it's just a big block of text and it doesn't really attract someone to wanting to read it. It doesn't catch your eye as you're scrolling through Facebook, and we want to catch people's eyes with our content. So I took it and pimped it into a piece of content that would catch someone's attention more. And I've had to break it into two, but you wouldn't see it like that on Facebook. I had to break it into two to show it to you here. You would just see it as one long post. So what you can see is I've put spaces in to space out the chunks of text to make it more easily readable. I've added emojis in to break up the text and emphasize certain points. So I've emphasized the pain points that will resonate with the person reading it, and I've used emojis also on the transformation points as well. So hopefully that can show you a bit more about the structure. So breaking up the text, having lots of gaps in there, and adding emojis in as well, also to break up the text but to attract the eye. And this is why images are quite important as well, because they're eye-catching. However, I've been testing a lot of posts without images lately. I'm still getting really great engagement on them even without an image. So how do you pull all this together then? This is it. It all comes together into this, okay? So you have your monthly marketing intention. What are you selling this month? All roads must lead to that. An example marketing day could be these 5 posts. Now, you might not want to do 5 posts at first. You might need to build to that. That's totally okay. I'm just giving you this as an example. You can create your own structure from what I've taught you today. So an example marketing day could be a one-sentence quote or truth bomb first thing in the morning, an elegant story post, something about you, an evidence post, which is a client result, an everyday life post, and an expertise post. That's just an example. You could take any 3 of those and use 3. That would be perfect as well. Good place to start. And then you've got your weekly other group posts. So it could be every week you share a client magnet post in a group, share a win in a group, and share market research posts in a group. and you use that to build your audience organically. So it's like a cycle. You're always bringing new people into your audience and you're putting the content out every day. Now, as you start building this content, it doesn't have to be new content every time. It's a little bit harder at the start when you're building that content bank, but you save all of the pieces of content that you write and you repurpose them. I remember once, and I get days where my creativity is gone, or I'm too busy doing other things to think about marketing. And then I will sort of go back and look at an old post that I've saved in notes in my phone, and I'll tweak that post and put it out there. And I remember once, I don't know what was going on that month, something, maybe I was going through a big up level. It was last year at some point. I remember I had no brain space for writing new content at that time. And I actually just repurposed all old content, and I had my best month financially. So that proved to me, up to that point, the best month financially to that point, that proved to me that it doesn't always have to be new content, because different people will see it at different times. So I know this might seem like a lot of work, but actually, this is the stuff that's going to make you money. And spending an hour a day on the stuff that's going to make you money is really important if you want a successful business. And the great thing about all of this, which I should have emphasized more, is your content is transformational. Your content is helping people. Every time you put a piece of content out, it's helping hundreds, if not more, people who are reading it. And even when it feels like people aren't engaging, they are still watching. They are still being impacted by your content. So I'm very much, it's not just about making money, it's about making a difference. And the money comes as a side effect of making a difference through this transformational content that you put out there. Right, gosh, I thought my voice was going to go in that then. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing the screen now, and we will see if there's any questions. I feel like I've thrown a lot at you there. Okay, right. I'm going to have a look back at the questions now, and any other questions you might have, post them here and I will answer them for you. Right, let me just see. Anna, not sure what is masculine and feminine energy. Fear of negative comments from your post is also my fear. Yeah, sort of. So we all have masculine and feminine energy, and most people tend to have more masculine energy just because of the way that we're brought up and because of the wounds that we have from our childhood. So masculine is more masculine energy, like say everybody has both, is more doing, action taking, working hard, hustling type behaviors. With feminine energy is more like trusting, just believing that everything will work out, relaxing, like this. They're just polar opposites. But the prime, how can I explain this? The prime recipe for success is to have a balance of masculine and feminine energy, and that is actually a key part of the transformational work that I do with my clients, even if they don't realize it. If they're on a course of mine or working one-to-one with me, like under the surface, part of the transformation is actually helping them balance their energies for that prime recipe for success. So the balance of feminine and masculine is important. So bringing that to your marketing, having that balance of feminine and masculine through the doing, that's showing what you do in your business, and the being, which is more of showing who you are. It's just my interpretation of how you can apply it in marketing. Okay. Carl, I loved your permission post. Thank you, hun. I know, it's a shame I couldn't see your comments on there, but yeah, we'll go back and answer everything now. Beauty, I found that too, and I had to get used to doing selfies as well. Yeah, both makeup and no makeup and surreal serious. Yes, do a little selfie photo shoot. The good thing about selfies is you can always get the best angle though, so that's a good thing. Pam, Natasha, do you ever use LinkedIn? I do use LinkedIn, but it's not my favorite platform. I've got a presence on there, but I'm not like a LinkedIn expert. With LinkedIn, I think it's a really great platform if people working in corporate is more your target audience. There's a lot of entrepreneurs that I know who actually use LinkedIn as well. I would use it in a very similar, perhaps a slightly more professional twist to the posts. Somebody I know who does teach LinkedIn marketing, Helen, I forgot her last name. She does talk about sharing personal story posts on LinkedIn as well. So I suspect it's pretty much the same. Like you can apply the same principles here to your LinkedIn marketing. I think the only thing is though, they have a limit on how much you can write. That's one of the problems I've had, because although I love my little one-liners, I've got a lot of posts that are really long as well. And when I go to share them on LinkedIn, there's a cap on how much I can write in a post. Sarah, I love the truth bomb posts. Yeah. Pam, love that boundary truth bomb. Nicola, what if it isn't money related ops? What if the win isn't related? Yeah, they don't have to be money related. I share money related because I help people earn more money. Like that's why I share money related wins. So it's whatever you help people with, and also just wins that you're excited about sharing. Like it creates excitement and yeah, love in your audience as well. So yeah, it doesn't have to be money related win. I just shared this because I help people make more money. So it's in alignment for me to share related wins with that. Beauty, the one for the August 24 sales post was fun to read and do the maths. Like, wow, that's achievable for my clients as well. Loved it. Beauty, right, I love using those to match my brands too. Yeah. Anna, I work with adults with autism, so I'd find it difficult to post in unrelated groups. Yes, potentially. So yeah, you might want to find something that is aimed towards your target audience, but that your service is a completely different service to what that group is offering, so that it doesn't conflict. Anna, could you explain the unrelated group while you also say with a link to what you do? I'm not quite sure what you mean there, Anna. So by unrelated groups, I mean, for example, maybe your target audience is parents. So like some sort of parent group where the owner, you and the owner don't have the same service would be a suitable group. Or even a business networking group. There's going to be a lot of parents in that business networking group. It's not specifically for parents, but you know that naturally there will be lots of parents in that group. It's thinking outside the box a little bit. Now, what I've seen people do in the past is they've gone and joined a very specific group for a very specific target audience, and their service conflicts with the owner of the group. It's the same service. And then they've got into like trouble where they're trying to give value on posts and the owners kick them out because they're treading on their toes a little bit. So we don't want to be in that type of situation. And the way to work around that is like go into a group where you're not in conflict with what the owner of the group is selling, essentially. Yeah, unfortunately there's no PDF. It's just the workshop, but you get a replay access to this for a week, so you can go back and you can jot down some more notes if you need to. Yeah, everyone gets the replay. There's a whole week that you can make notes and answer any of the questions that were on there as well. Kimberly, I missed the first hour. I'm on holiday. Ooh. Well, I'm proud of that dedication that you've still come and watched it, even though you're on holiday. I've missed your guidance and expertise for the last couple of months. Think I need to do another one of your courses. Oh, well, I'm always open to that, Kimberly. I'm just about to launch Innovation and Intuition, which I'm really excited about. It's actually about healing imposter, the inner imposter, and unlocking your self-trust. So that is about to launch. That's the intention for September. So you'll see all my posts will be talking about healing imposter syndrome, unlocking self-trust, and how using intuition in business can really help you explode your business. So just in line with what I've taught you, that's my intention for September. You will see that all my posts now, after this has passed, because everything was around selling this workshop, now everything's going to selling Innovation and Intuition, which I'm really excited about that course. So yeah, if you're interested in that, Kimberly, let me know. Lisa, I fear the silence and no interaction. It's about understanding. It's not about you. It's not about you. I've had people sign up for things that I had no idea that they were even interested, because they've been watching from afar. We call them lurkers, like they don't engage with anything, but they're in and they are interested and they're building this relationship with you, even though they're engaging on your post. So what I say sometimes helps with that is, even if there's one, like if you help one person with that post, job is done. And this was like the fear I had to get over as well, because I had to go over a lot of visibility fears in my business. When I did my first webinar, oh my gosh, I was so scared. And I just said to myself, if one person benefits from this webinar, that's okay. I've done my job. If one person benefits. So think that about your post. If one person gets something from this post, then I've done my job. We're all here to make an impact, but I want you to be financially rewarded for that impact as well. So brilliant workshop, Natasha. Thank you. You're welcome, hun. How can I ask the best way to start a Facebook group? How did you begin, and the best way to bring people in? So, how did I begin? So I just set up a group, and when you first start with a Facebook group, it literally is who in your current network can go in that group. So it is people you know initially that join. So that's the first stage, and you are going to have that little stage at the beginning where there's not that many people in your group, but again, that means nothing about you. I had a Facebook group with 200 people in when I started this avenue of my business. I grew it to 200 in a month, and then I did a webinar launch and I had a 35k launch. So like, numbers doesn't mean anything. I want you to get away from this belief that you need a high number in your audience or anything like that to be successful. You don't. You really don't. It's just a vanity thing. Numbers is a vanity thing. And in terms of building that group, so I sort of ran a competition, and I said, if invite anybody that you think could benefit from this group. So once you've got those first people in, they get the ball rolling, they invite some people. And I said that when we hit a certain amount of people, I would run a free webinar for them. So that was like an incentive. Also, I teach a 5-day challenge strategy. I don't use this anymore in my business, but I used it in the earlier days of growing my business. But I teach it in my program. It's actually in the Business Workshop Library in the Ultimate Up-Level Academy. It's too much to explain on a call. It's a whole strategy for how to run a 5-day challenge that can grow your audience, grow your group, and obviously how you can monetize that as well. Shamila, how often should we do research posts in a group? I'd say just use different groups, maybe one per month. in one particular group, but you could have a few different groups that you use for this. Pascal, that was fantastic. Thank you. You're welcome. I know, I feel like I gave you a lot of stuff then. I didn't have time to time the workshop either. So I was like, oh my gosh, 2 hours. Am I going to be able to fill 2 hours? But we did. We did it, ladies. Booty, right. Agreed, Anna. Beautifully organised and a breath of fresh air from super salesy marketing webinars. Oh, thank you. Shamila, how do you keep track of the groups that you're posting in? Really, I'm not that organised. Genuinely, I'm not. I just kind of do it sporadically. I've tried to turn these things into strategies for you ladies. Like I say, this is just all stuff that I'd naturally done, and then I had to reverse engineer. Well, what works? You know, how can I teach this to others? So I had to reverse engineer it. So I really don't track because I don't do it very often. You know, there's certain groups that I engage in and I have a presence in. Free groups can work for this. Paid groups work even better. And the reason I say that is because in paid groups, there's already an audience of people who are willing to invest in themselves. Whereas there's less people at that point of actually making financial investments in themselves in a free group. There's people, but there's less people. So paid groups work really well, like a membership that you might be part of or a course that you might be part of. And one thing I wanted to say is it's important to show you're human in your marketing, in your networks that you're in, but also important to still be the leader in some ways. So you don't want to say anything that might damage your reputation as a business owner or as a leader, strong leader in your business. Yeah. Grace, it feels overwhelming, yet when you say spend an hour a day, it doesn't feel as overwhelming. True, I know it's a lot of stuff to take in. That is like 6 years of marketing that I've learned and developed as I've gone along, you know. So yeah, it is a lot to take in. But like I said, even if you just apply one thing, like one thing tomorrow that you've taken away from this, it's that consistently taking these actions, consistently doing these things, creates that compound effect or the snowball effect, like I like to call it, where things will just explode. Pascal, any other tips on how to grow your group? So yeah, I obviously I mentioned about the 5-day challenges, but it's really too much to. It's like a whole workshop. I can't give it all right now. And Adriana, Natasha, you said you post 3 to 4 times a day. Is this all over Facebook, personal page, business, and your group? For example, I see lots of posts on your business page, 1 daily on a personal page, and some inside the group. So I actually post more on my personal page. I use my personal page more for business. That's just what I feel works best for me. But now that I've got a team take my posts and they will sort of put them everywhere else. But there's not as many. Most of my posts are on my personal page, maybe a few in the group or the business page. 2 on Instagram a day and on LinkedIn. But I didn't use all these platforms when it was just me. So what I would always advise is to really nail one platform first, get really comfortable with that platform, make that work for you, make sure that you're getting sales on that platform before you start dividing your attention elsewhere. Cal, I've recently decluttered my personal Facebook. I'd love to keep it more personal and torn between LinkedIn for business or trying to use Facebook and hoping I'm okay with it. That's a personal decision, Hen. Maybe look at the pros and the cons of each platform. Lisa, do I need a group as well as a Facebook business page? I'm a massage therapist. Yeah, it's important to have a business page because that's like your shop window where people can leave genuine testimonials. I think that's important. If I'm ever going to work with someone, I go to look at their business page and see if people have left testimonials there, because that's important as well as actually sharing testimonials yourself, because anyone could actually share a testimonial and make it up. Like, you'd like to think that people wouldn't do that, but there are people like that out there. So if I'm going to work with someone, I like to see the business page has got reviews. If their reviews is turned off on their business page, that rings alarm bells for me a little bit. But with a group, you could create a community within that group. So in my health business, I had a health community called The Nourished Woman. So we would talk about health tips and things like that. So you could create a community if you wanted to, that was linked to people with an interest in having massage. Saffron, how do you make yourself stand out from other people trying to sell the same thing? Authenticity seems to be a buzzword at the moment. Whilst I have a life coach, I've purchased other courses and lots to offer. I wonder whether it's really any different to everyone else. Okay. You wonder whether your services are any different to anyone else? So this is the thing, see, like, no one is you, Saffron. No one, even though you might think they're selling a similar thing, no one is you. And this is why we talk about people buying people. That's what makes you different. It makes you unique. And we, in the intuition and innovation course, I actually help people expand more on that, like developing their own unique concepts, their own unique models, their own unique processes in their business that also help them stand out as different. But you are the differentiating factor to everybody else. Now, there's some people that won't like learning from me. I'm an introvert. I'm just quite laid back, I think. And you know, my personality won't resonate with some people, so they won't want to work with me, and that's okay. Whereas they might work better with someone who's like a really high vibe energy coach, who's like really sort of like outgoing and loud or swears, and you know, there's different people with different personalities, and there's enough people attracted to all those different people for them to have successful businesses. So who you are makes you unique. There's people who will resonate with you a lot more than they will resonate with those other people that you think are selling similar things. But you need to do the work around you, what makes you stand out as different and unique, and recognizing that you're not the same as everyone else. You are an amazing individual with your own unique magic and unique gifts that you are bringing to your work. Nobody says that about hairdressers today. So let me just give you that example. Nobody says, I'm not going to be a hairdresser because there's too many other hairdressers in the world. They all do the same thing. They all cut hair, but they all do it in their own unique way. They've got, you know, a different personality, and people are loyal to their hairdresser. It's the same as online business. Like, I have a lot of loyal clients who, like, they sign up for everything that I put out there, my super clients, because not just because they like my courses, but they like me as well as a person. So it's the same. Like, we don't say, oh my gosh, no, there's no point becoming a hairdresser because there's too many other people doing that. All hairdressers have their own unique client base that are attracted to that particular hairdresser, and it's the same with online business. Sarah, so much I can take away and use. This has been amazing. I'm glad it's been helpful. I wondered if it was too much, actually, but I wanted to give you it all, and you can take what you like and use what you like. Adriana, I also have services in my native language, Romanian and English. Any suggestions how to mix this? For example, on my personal page, I write in Romanian, how and where to attract my English-speaking client. I'm not 100% sure on that. It's difficult. I have got clients who are in the same boat. They do a mix of English and whatever the other native language is. And generally it's quite hard because it's almost like you're running two different pages, so to speak. I don't know the answer to that one. I really don't. It's probably easier to decide on one, like where you see your future being, I guess. Oh, and I just wanted to add, I'm part Romanian, by the way, Adriana. So I think that it's important to think about where do you want your business to go? Because obviously with Romanian, there's only a small part of the world that can speak Romanian. So do you want to be like the leading expert in your country? Great, stay with Romanian. Do you want a worldwide audience and a global business? Sticking with just Romanian is probably not going to work for that vision that you might have in your business. So it's thinking about where you want your business to go. Yeah, I know Helen as well. I was curious to apply your principles there. Yeah, I do. I do use LinkedIn, but I don't use it as intentionally, I'd say. There's just a presence there for now. As I grow the business and get more people into the team, then we will start utilizing other things. But when you are, especially like when it's just you in a business, you got to focus on and really knuckle down on the thing that works and try not to spread yourself too thin. Anna, even if you don't mention the name of the client you're sharing the win about, do you ask for permission? So yes, usually ask for permission, even without a name. However, sometimes in the busyness of things, it can get a bit, sometimes it can get missed. So I have a clause in my contract that says I'm permitted to share transformations and wins anonymously as part of my marketing. But if it's ever the client's name, I always ask, because out of respect, and most of the time, I like 99% of the time I still ask out of respect as well. But the clause just covers me in case there's a time that I slip up and I share an anonymous post without asking the person first. Barbara, when you sit down to write, what's your mindset around writing posts? How much time do you spend writing posts daily or weekly? I do it all spur of the moment. So it's just the way I am. Like it comes naturally to me. And I know that won't work for everyone. We're all different. I'm a manifesting generator, human design, and I like to just live in the moment, so to speak. So I really struggle with forward planning. Whenever I create, it's usually got to be like very close to the deadline. Like I finished this webinar. I started writing this webinar ages ago, but it's only today, like when the deadline was today, that it all started to really feel exciting and fall into place in my mind. So the way I create is at the time, in the moment, rather than planning in advance. So I just, because I've done so much work on myself, my intuition helps me a lot with my business. I literally think to myself, what do I need to share today? You can ask yourself that question, what do I need to share today? And just trust what comes up and put it into a post and share it. Some people like to be more organized, so they will have, you could either have like half an hour a morning or an hour a morning that you dedicate as marketing time. Or depending on what your week looks like, you could have a Sunday or like a half a day, one point in the week where you do it all in that time. It really depends on the individual and how you like to work. So yeah, I don't have, for me, there's not really like a mindset that I need to get into to do it, because I do it so naturally now. But I wasn't always this way. When I was pregnant with my son, and so we're going back to my old business 4 years ago, I wasn't consistent with my marketing. And I would have these almost like these weeks where I just completely withdrew from my marketing, and I just felt like I physically could not write anything and put it out there. And it was all my inner stuff, and I've done a lot of work on that now, so it doesn't affect me in that way anymore. But what I did was I hired a VA who would post twice a day, even if I couldn't. She would take my old posts and redo them, sort of tweak them a little bit so that they looked slightly different. And she was my consistency when I couldn't be consistent. So that might work for you. Nicola, sometimes I feel it's not as impactful, if not money-led. So many other things for my clients. Try to have a mix of tangible and intangible results. So it's not just money stuff. Like I share the transformations in families, with children, with partners, etc. So I'm really trying to make an effort to share more that's not just money. There's a key thing that has driven all of the it was one of the first things I learned about marketing. Sell people what they want, give them what they need. So you've got to sell the aspiration. What is it that somebody wants? So when I was selling, when I had my health business, I didn't want to sell weight loss, but weight loss was what people wanted. So I was selling weight loss, but I was changing their relationship with food. And this was talking years ago when it wasn't as popular as that is now. People didn't want to change their relationship with food. They didn't even know what that meant, like back then. So I was selling weight loss, but I was changing the relationship with food, which the symptom or side effect of that was weight loss. But I had to talk about what they wanted in my marketing. So, you know, there is someone, your audience wants something. They want some sort of aspirational identity. And that's what you need to tap into, even though you might feel uncomfortable with that at first. That is what they want. That's how you bring them in. And then you give them what they need. You give them the deep stuff, the transformation that they need, which they will get that aspirational thing as a side effect of the transformation that you do with them. Carol, can you tell us about your courses? What happened there? Can you tell us about your courses? So yeah, everything's changed in my business. So now everything leads to the Ultimate Up Level Academy. So there's 4 parts within the academy. There's Lead with Love, Innovation and Intuition, which is the next one coming up. They're about halfway through Lead with Love now. Authentic Visibility, and Wealth and Worth Mastery. And each of those 4 is healing the 4 different success saboteurs. So that's my signature course at the moment. So I did a big launch of the academy, and now each individual module that runs the 4 courses within it, they also get sold, and people get a chance to then upgrade to the full academy if they want to. So that's what I've got at the moment, Carol. So the next solo part of that that's available is Healing the Inner Imposter, which is innovation and intuition, and unlocking your intuition and your creativity so that you can bring that to improving your marketing as well. Shimoni, great webinar, Sosa, thank you. Carol, is innovation and intuition new? It is new, yeah. It's part of the new signature program. Shamila, how often should we do research posts in a particular group? It's taken me a while to get through these questions, ladies. I think I answered that actually earlier on. Cassie, great workshop. Thank you, Hen. Barbara. Oh, these are repeat questions, I think. Yeah. Anna, posting more than once a day is so much. Do you create everything yourself? I do. And you know what? It is the most important thing in your business. I can't stress that enough. Marketing is what brings in your sales. So if you have to learn how to market, that like, there's no simple or nice answer to that other than you have to learn how to market. But it gets easier. Like it's that cliche. The more you do it, the easier it gets, and that is so true. Fuji, do you ever state trigger warning? Yeah, I feel my upcoming content will be emotional for some people, but it's needed for my launch. You can state that sometimes. Occasionally, I've done that in the past. Also, that might attract more people to wanting to read it, because people are genuinely quite nosy, you know. So if they see trigger warning, they're like, "Oh, what's going on here? I want to read that." So it could work in a positive way as well. Adriana, oh yeah, we've answered that as well. Barbara, how do you create so much original content? Honestly, a lot of it comes from doing the inner work. Yeah, and that's true, because the lessons that you learn, like I say, they become my marketing. The lessons I've learned about my life, about me, the processes that I've gone through, the breakthroughs that I have, because my past is my work. This is what I help people with. Is I am my ideal client. You know, I was my ideal client. It's a lot easier when you have that alignment between what you do and who you are. So writing content feels so much easier. And also it's around that self-trust side of things as well. So this is the feminine energy that I've talked about. We're not going to go into huge detail on this, but self-love and self-trust are feminine energy, and creativity is feminine energy. So if your feminine energy is blocked and you're too much in your masculine, you're going to really struggle to be creative and to write content. So we need to bring that balance back and unblock the feminine energy, which is unblocking your self-trust. So you trust the ideas that your mind and your intuition's given you. You trust that you can put it out there. You trust it's going to work for you. And you feel more creative and you trust those ideas. Christine, thank you. This was helpful. I was struggling with coming up with marketing content. This has given me a structured form. Yes, I'm glad. That's what I like to hear. Claire's, it's been wonderful, so useful. Thank you. You're welcome. Do you use a post scheduler? I've got a post scheduler. It's called SmarterQueue, and I have used them in the past. There's another one called Meet Edgar. I've used them, but and they're quite good to add some consistency in, because they repurpose the posts over and over again. But this year I completely rebranded and up-leveled my business, and so I've had to write all new content, and I'm writing all new courses as well. So there's been a lot of content creation this year in terms of marketing and courses. Alexandra, what do you think lies beneath not being consistent in posting content? It's the saboteurs, hun. It's those different saboteurs and the fears that come up, and then your mind, the different saboteurs will come up to try and help you feel safe again. Okay. Carl, thank you so much. Food for thought for me, about to launch my new business. Right, I think that's the end of the questions, ladies. If you have any more, post them quick or forever hold your peace. How do you store what you've posted and future ideas? So I use iPhone notes. Yeah, I've got thousands of notes in there now. But I always write my content there before I post it, so that I've got it there to use at another time. My team, I've got something called an Asana board, where they're starting to store all my content in the Asana board. And yeah, when it's in notes in your phone, you can just easily go in, scroll back to a few months ago if you're not feeling creative that day, and pick a post and tweak it, or even just post it exactly as it is again, and different people will see it and it will still help impact someone new. Okay, I think that's it. From what I can see, no more questions, ladies. Well, thank you for joining me. That's the first paid masterclass I've ever done, so I hope it was okay. It sounds like there was lots of good feedback there. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how you take this stuff and roll with it now and start implementing it. And yeah, I'll see you in my Successful Entrepreneur Society free group. If you are in there, if you're not, come and join the Successful Entrepreneur. If you want permanent access to this video and to possibly join some of my courses where we work on the inner stuff as well, the Ultimate Up Level Academy is where you get permanent access to this. And there's 4 courses and a whole library of business workshops and strategy, my 5-day challenge strategy, like all sorts. So it's really incredible value for what it is. If you feel called to work with me further, that's the option that I've got. Right. Okay. I'm going to go now, ladies. I'm quite tired after that. Have a lovely evening and we'll speak to you soon. Bye.